Great. My name is Elton Robin. Good to have you here. Your comments are welcome. I mean, tell us your memory of George Akufu Dampare, the outgone Inspector General of Police, and whether he did a good job. You can tell us via social media handles on X Spaces, on YouTube, on Facebook, and of course on myjoyonline.com. But from the Jubilee House, President Mahama has called on the newly sworn-in Inspector General of Police, COP Tete Yohunu, to take decisive action against corruption within the Ghana Police Service. He emphasized the need for a firm crackdown on all forms of unethical behavior, stressing that misconduct must be swiftly addressed to ensure public confidence in the service. Now, he was speaking at a swearing-in ceremony at Jubilee House this morning. President Mahama also expressed his gratitude to the outgone IGP, George Akufu Dampare, for his dedicated service to the nation. Presidential Affairs correspondent Masola Gbagba was there for Joy News, and this is his wrap.
It's a lot of excitement and hugging for the personnel, here. Many of them also with higher expectations for the new IGP. President Mahama, in his speech, urged the new IGP, COP Tete Yohunu, to focus also on rooting out corruption in the Ghana Police Service. He also urged him to prioritize the welfare of personnel of the Ghana Police Service. John Mahama also thanked the outgone IGP, COP Dampare, for his service to the nation.
One critical area that requires immediate attention is the relationship between the police service and the communities in which they serve. Public trust in law enforcement is essential. Without it, effective policing becomes difficult. The concept of community policing must be strengthened. The police must be seen not as an intimidating force, but as a partner in crime prevention, safety, and development. Officers who serve and protect with empathy, fairness, and respect for human rights are respected in society. Mr. IGP, your role will also involve rooting out corruption within the service. Corruption in law enforcement undermines justice and weakens public confidence in our security agencies. Additionally, I want to emphasize the importance of improving the welfare of officers under your command. Policing is a very demanding profession that requires sacrifice and dedication. Our officers must be well remunerated, adequately housed, and given access to proper health care and psychological support. A motivated police force is a productive police force. Let me take this opportunity to also extend my deepest gratitude to the outgoing Inspector General of Police. He has served our nation with dedication and commitment, and his contribution to law enforcement and national security will not be forgotten. We thank him for his service and we wish him well in his future endeavors.
We've gotten to the juncture where we would invite our new IGP, in the person of Mr. Christian Tete Yohunu, to also make a few remarks.
This leadership position transcends mere title. It embodies a solemn responsibility that demands unwavering vigilance, integrity, and the ability to make decisions that safeguard the safety, security, and the well-being of our citizens and beyond. Your Excellency, I approach this responsibility with the utmost seriousness, fully recognizing the weight of expectations accompanying this role. In alignment with the transformation and modernization of the service, I pledge to uphold the values, traditions, and culture of the Ghana Police Service, consistent with the resetting agenda of Your Excellency, the President. In this regard, the guiding principles will include discipline and respect for seniority within the hierarchy structure of the service. So I assure you, Your Excellency, that professionalism, transparency, accountability, and fairness shall underpin my administration and focus on renewing attitudes.
Defense, Interior, Presidential Advisor, Madam Marita, Secretary to the President, please.
Efiatenge, she's the former head of the Greater Accra Regional Police. She was transferred to the Volta region where she headed the police public affairs.
Waiting for this day for so long.
Waiting for this
Finally,
day for so long.
and here. So we are here to celebrate with our new IGP.
Okay. If you've been waiting for this day for so long, what exactly were you waiting for? A replacement?
No, it was his dream to one day to also be an IGP.
Okay.
And you know, we also work closely with most of the former IGPs, including the just recent.
Yeah.
And so it is really a good news to all of us.
Okay. As a former police officer, what's your assessment of the outgone, IGP's administration?
He did his best. He did his best as an Inspector General of Police. And of course, we all cannot do it all. Each one of us would have to do our individual parts. So he has done his best, and he has left the face for a new face in the Ghana Police Service now. Thank you.
And of course, this happened before midday at the Jubilee House where the new IGP took office. And I've got a statement coming from the outgone IGP, George Akuffo Dampare. I'll share the details with you pretty shortly. But who exactly is he? We've got this report put together for you.
The removal of Dr. George Akuffo Dampare as Inspector General of Police sparked widespread debate. His dismissal came without the usual courtesy extended to outgoing public officials, suggesting that the decision may have been made out of frustration by President John Dramani Mahama. Dr. Dampare's tenure was a mix of achievements and controversy. While he significantly improved the image of the Ghana Police Service and modernized aspects of its operations, he was also criticized for centralizing communication, limiting information flow, and creating internal divisions. Officers were often restricted from speaking to the public, and even the police service's official spokespersons were largely inactive under his leadership. His position was further threatened when reports emerged that some senior officers were plotting his removal. A leaked tape investigated by Parliament captured his colleague DCOP George Alex Mensah, making disparaging remarks about him, remarks he did not hesitate to repeat publicly.
And what I said yesterday, if you give me the chance today, I will say so again. He is not managing the police service well. And for me, for the 31 years that I've been in the service, I can tell you he's the worst IGP we've ever had.
These internal conflicts painted a picture of a divided leadership within the Ghana Police Service. Dr. Dampare initially won public approval as the youngest IGP, swiftly taking charge of national security and tackling crime. However, his tenure was marked by political controversies. The opposition National Democratic Congress repeatedly criticized him for failing to properly investigate election-related violence in 2020, which resulted in fatalities amongst NDC supporters. A similar situation arose during the 2024 elections, with the NDC again accusing the police of ignoring violence targeted at their members. Upon assuming office on January 7, 2025, President John Dramani Mahama tasked Dr. George Akuffo Dampare with investigating election-related deaths, setting clear timelines and expectations for transparency. Nearly 3 months later, no public update has been provided on the investigations, raising concerns about his commitment to the directive. Despite his strong branding of the Ghana Police Service and infrastructural improvements, morale amongst officers was repeatedly low. Many within the service expressed satisfaction with his removal, citing dissatisfaction with his leadership style.
Yes. To make sure that as we have gotten our freedom, we open the office that has been locked since Dampare became IGP. It's so terrible. A tyrant, a vindictive leader is finally gone, and police service is forever free.
Additionally, the police under the tenure failed to release crime statistics, a critical tool for tracking crime trends and implementing effective solutions. Ultimately, Dr. Dampare's dismissal may have been influenced by a combination of political, administrative, and operational concerns, culminating in a decision that reflected both internal discontent and external pressure for accountability.
a report put together by the Joy Security Desk. Now, shocking as it may seem, let me bring you how police officers at the police headquarters here in Accra been reacting to the dismissal of the former IGP George Akuffo Dampare.
Police was there. What banana will be here? Hey, what banana will be here?
So this happened when the new IGP was about to leave to the Jubilee House for the swearing-in ceremony, and fame was done by some police officers, jubilating and welcoming him to their fold as the new IGP. And some have reacted to this matter. Some say it's unprofessional, it's marks of indiscipline, but I don't know what you think. You can share your comments with us via our social media handles on our X Spaces, on YouTube, on Facebook, of course, on myjoyonline.com. Now, I told you early on that the outgone IGP, I don't know whether he's still going to serve in the Ghana Police Service or he's going to leave the scene entirely. He's got a statement out, and very soon I'm going to share the details with you on the program. But let me take you to the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi, where some residents have been voicing concerns over the removal of Dr. Akuffo Dampare as IGP, praising him for his selfless leadership. They say he will be remembered for his charisma and his hands-on approach in supporting families during security crisis. Many believe his strong leadership played a key role in ensuring peaceful elections in the last 2024 elections.
He was a grassroots IGP. He wouldn't stay in Accra to solve issues.
Now you're friendly, like social media now. The
IGP was a friendly leader. His humbleness, I feel he brought stability to the service.
No, I'm crying now. Maybe I'm the kind one say, "Why justice? Or you're no powerful." I'm finna do many agro, and I did to some.
Our leaders can really disappoint us. Why would you change or replace a working public servant?
Also, buy so man, Yentina buy. Also, ban will be a Dumagama brand new unit. And on that, say, what?
In fact, I will beg Mama on my Ghana.
He has really worked. The assaults on drivers on our roads were reduced.
And
one qua, but you didn't one qua, and then nephew. Almost at the only yesterday after his replacement, the police are now on our roads again, disturbing us.
Your best up about a Nadia, only the answers of bar, or when I only took my
That for the areas were quite a Rebecca. That was for the Rebecca. Actually, say, now, oh, police in Aquam, Listen, now I will free already. As I never said, about way bus starting already.
For us drivers, we remember the sanity he brought on our roads. The police were assaulting and taking 10 cities from us each day.
Airport run about here, Jenny, so we to 10 cities. So, the 10 cities, Mass are upon to Yatrea. That very sign I will be now. It did Dampare the kind of
Right, so it's good time to bring you some details about the outgone IGP and the new IGP, Christian Tete Yohuno. We've put together the slides to, break it down for you, their work experience when they joined the police. So we'll start with George Akufu Dampare, who is now being relieved of his position as IGP. This is his highest education, Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, UPS, in 1996. He also holds a Master's of Science in Accounting and Finance from the London South Bank University in the United Kingdom, and also a business system analyst and design, City University of London. And of course, Doctor of Philosophy in Finance and Management from the University of London's King's College in London. So, that's his PhD. So he joined the Ghana Police Service as a police constable in December 1990 at the age of 20. Now, during his training period and in passing out, he was awarded the overall best recruit at the National Police Training School in 1991, overall best cadet for the 32nd Cadet Officers Course at the Ghana Police Academy in 1996. And of course, is very excellent in professional police subjects and excellence in academic subjects awards. He served as the Vice President aide-de-camp to John Evans at Amels when he was Vice President to the late Jerry John Rawlings. He served as his aide-de-camp, and then also was once Chief Internal Auditor for the Ghana Police Service. Also served as Municipal Commander for Cape Coast, Regional Commander for Railways, Ports and Harbour, Accra Regional Police Commander. At one point, he was a Regional Police Commander here in the Greater Accra region, but he also had his eyes on the ball. Staff Commandant of the Police Command, Commissioner of Police. He was made Commissioner of Police or promoted to the rank of Commissioner of Police in 2014. And then he was in charge of administration and welfare, and then was made the Inspector General of Police by the Akufo-Addo administration until yesterday. Now, who is taking over from him? And that's the man also there. This is Commissioner of Police, Christian Tete Yohuno. And Commissioner of Police is the highest rank in the police service. IGP is only, as some have come to describe, is a political appointment. It is not a rank. So the rank for both the new and the old, they are all COPs. So he holds a bachelor's degree from the University of Ghana, an executive MBA in project management from the UPSA. That's the new IGP, Christian Tete Yohuno. So this is his career and achievement. He was a divisional commander, Greater Accra. You know him very well, work with him. Regional operations commander, Accra Metropolis, Accra regional commander at some point. And of course, he was awarded the Grand Medal for his service to the Ghana Police Service in 2012. He was one-time Director General of the Police Intelligence, that's PIPS, and of course, Director General of the MTDD also at some point in his career. And then, before the expiration of the Akufo-Addo administration, he was promoted to the position of Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of operations. So, this is the now Inspector General of Police, Christian Tete Yohuno. Before that, he was Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of operations. Now, a lot of commentary we've heard on him, and of course, the outgone IGP, George Akufu Dampare. George Akufu Dampare has issued a statement, and very soon I'll bring you that statement to you. acknowledging what has happened so far in the last 24 hours and the subsequent, swearing in of the new IGP. I'll be sharing the details of that statement with you pretty shortly. But many are questioning what led to the widespread jubilation among police officers following the dismissal of former IGP George Akuffo Dampare. Additionally, with Dampare yet to reach the official retirement age of 60, what is his current status within the Ghana Police Service? And this afternoon, we'll be getting comments from Peter Nanchini Tobu. Peter Nanchini Tobu is a member of parliament, a former police officer. We'll also be speaking to some security experts. And of course, we'll be speaking to Alex Mensah. Remember Alex Mensah and his issues with the IGP that led to a whole parliament setting up a committee to investigate the leak tape. And he joins me on the line. I'm so grateful for your time this afternoon, Mr. Alex Mensah. Good afternoon and welcome to the Pulse. Yes, if you can hear me, Mr. COP retired Alex Mensah. Good afternoon, welcome to the program.
Yeah, good afternoon, my brother.
So first, let me pick your initial reaction to, I don't know whether it is safe to use the words dismissed George Akuffo Dampare as the IGP. What is your initial reaction when you heard the news yesterday?
Pardon me?
I want to understand your initial reaction to the change in leadership by the Ghana Police Service from George Akuffo Dampare to now Yohuno.
My initial reaction?
Yes.
Oh, as a retired police officer, I see this as normal. It's normal.
You had a lot of run-ins with Dr. George Akuffo Dampare, including the fact that Parliament had to set up a committee to investigate this matter. You had strong words against the IGP then. Did you still stand by those words?
Why not? I stand by my word.
And then with this change in leadership, you feel vindicated by the position you took?
Yes.
Why, in your estimation, is George Akuffo Dampare the worst IGP we have had?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question very well.
I was asking, why do you think that George Akuffo Dampare will go down as the worst IGP the country has had?
Oh, okay. Yes, I said him because I've worked with several IGPs. And the way they work, how they were managing the service. And I compared him to all the other IGPs. I saw him as a work.
Hello, Mr. Mensah.
Yes.
I just want to understand it better. I mean, why? I mean, he had his own style of leadership. The section of the country were of the view that he made police so visible. And you still think that he will go down as the worst?
Yeah, because he was a dictator. He wasn't a manager. He was not working with his members of the management team. He was working alone.
But remember, during his time, there was the police management team or body that he always moved around with them. I mean, the impression was
there was the police. There was the police management team, which I was a member. But he was not working with the management team. He was taking his own decision.
But management is supposed to be that whatever decision is taken is agreed among members before it is presented. The leader of that management team job is to communicate the outcome of that decision. That cannot amount to being autocratic in the way he carried himself out during his time as IGP.
Yeah, I didn't get your question very well.
No, I'm saying that there existed a police management team, and for that reason, whatever decision that was taken to advance the course of the Ghana Police Service was done at the management level. He, as the leader of the management team, job was to communicate the outcome of whatever meeting that may have taken place, and that cannot amount to being autocratic.
That is what he was saying, but that is not what he was doing. He was a dictator.
So you are firm in your belief that President Mahama has done a good job by removing him as IGP?
Exactly.
Some say you are better. You have personal issues against him. And that led you to appear before a parliamentary select committee that investigated that leak tape.
You see, in this country, when you speak the truth, they always say something about you. That's why people don't want to talk. But I am not the type of person like that. I speak the truth. The man was a dictator. He was not consulting anybody. And that is not how we manage the police service. It is not somebody's personal property. It's a state institution. And we have people at different positions. And you have to do, or you have to consult all these people before you come out to decisions. But that was not what was happening. At least at the time I was there, that was not what was happening. If it changed after I've left that one, I cannot say it because I wasn't there.
I mean, even going to the parliamentary ad hoc committee that investigated the leak tape, they exonerated George Akuffo Dampare of everything you said about him.
The parliamentary committee did what?
I'm saying that despite your position against him, when this matter of the leak tape was investigated by the parliamentary select committee, they, in their report, virtually exonerated George Akuffo Dampare of all the accusations you leveled against him.
Did you see the parliamentary select committee report signed by the chairman of the committee?
The chairman had his own reservations, but the one that was put before the House.
Why is that the chairman had his own reservations? I should tell you that the report that was written was not actually one.
Mr. Mensah, I mean, help us with some education. What do you know about the Police Provident Fund and accusations that it's been dissipated?
Police what?
The Police Provident Fund, that money...
If I tell you that I'm going to say anything about Police Provident Fund, then I'll be lying. I wasn't in charge of finance. And I've never spoken about the Police Provident Fund. I can't tell you anything about it.
They claim, and indeed, some of the things we are hearing, I asked you because you serve as COP, and during peacekeeping exercise, for example, with the UN and the AU, the claim here is that every police officer that participated, some $2,100 was deducted and put into the Provident Fund. The aim was to use it to set up a police bank. I don't know whether you know anything about this.
I don't know anything about it. I don't speak about something that I know nothing about.
I will soon run you through a statement that just came from Dr. George Akuffo Dampare, and then to seek your opinion on some of the things that he highlighted in this particular statement. But now that he's been removed, what do you expect to happen? Can you still go back to the service? Because he's a COP, he's not been asked to leave the police service. What should happen now?
You mean Dampare?
Yes.
No. Once they have removed you as the head of the institution, you cannot go back and serve under anybody. No.
So technically he is sacked from the police service?
He's not sacked. Maybe he's retired, not sacked. Sacked is different from retired.
I'm asking because we've not heard a direct official statement from the presidency or from the police service regarding his future in the Ghana police service.
They can take him to another It's up to the president.
This is a statement he just issued. Let me just pick some highlights of it. He says he is particularly grateful for the opportunity to serve the Ghana Police Service for the past 35 years, rising in rank from General Constable to Inspector General, behind the youngest Commissioner of Police as well as the youngest IGP in the Fourth Republic. Given the rank of Inspector General, the highest rank attainable for any officer, gave him an incredible opportunity to serve. The contribution that the rank and file of Ghana Police Service has made to security, law and order during his tenure has been enormous. And he goes on to say that his many years in the service gave him the opportunity to serve as Director General of almost all departments and a record 2 stints as Director General Welfare and Administration. He remains grateful to the Ghana Police Management Board, POMAC, as well as the rank and file of the Ghana Police Service. And he expressed his continuous commitment to the Ghana, to the country that he served. I mean, no mention of his future. But what do we expect from the incoming, from the now IGP, Christian Tesi-Yohunu?
Yes, I expect the incoming to come and do better. You see, everybody wants better from whoever is coming. So I hope and I know that Mr. Yohunu will not disappoint.
Some have questioned why, during the time of George Akuffo Dampare, the country was never privy to the crime statistics.
That was one of his decisions. That was one of his decisions. Some of the decisions that some of us protested against, and he didn't listen to us.
In terms of fighting corruption, as President Mahama tasked the new IGP to do, how should the new IGP go about it, especially within the service?
Mr. Tesi-Yohunu has been a seasoned tactical police officer for a very long time. And he knows what to do. And I trust him. And I know that he is going to listen to his management members because he's the type of person who listens.
And then also,
and I pray that he doesn't disappoint. You know, people behave differently. Some people behave differently when they go and sit on certain chairs. So I'm praying that my junior brother, the Yohunu, will remain the Yohunu that I know. That's my prayer. If he remains the Yohunu that I know he's going to improve. And all police officers will be happy, except those who don't want service to develop.
Should the service expect a shake-up, especially in the leadership, now that we have a new leader?
That is our prayer. That's our hope.
The other matter, some people are questioning the jubilation that we are seeing, especially on social media, videos taken from the police headquarters. Some are saying that these are security officers and the way they are jubilating because a former IGP is off the scene and a new one has come. Some say that it's much of indiscipline. First, what do you make of the jubilation? Is it right that they exhibited that?
You know, my brother, this is the first thing that we such up in the they have changed of IGP anytime a new government comes. And even the same government, they have been changed. And another quarter came, we had the first IGP, we have a second one, and the party became the third one. They were changed. But nobody jubilated, nobody did anything at the national headquarters. When the Kuparo took over, the then IGP was retried but nobody jubilated. Why are the police officers jubilating now? That should tell you what they were going through during the period. When Mr. Opombolo was changed and Dampare was appointed, nobody jubilated. Why is it that the police officers are jubilating at the national headquarters and all the police stations? That should tell you something.
Right. Is it right? What you are seeing, are you happy with it?
Pardon me?
I'm asking, what you are seeing, the jubilation and the videos that are out, comments from police officers, are you happy with it?
I'm not happy with the jubilation, but I'm happy with the change in leadership. Because now we have a who is the right. That's my.
Before I let you go, now that you are out of the service, Dampare is also out. Are you going to invite him over a bottle of beer to smooth out whatever differences the two of you have?
That's not a problem at all.
It's not a problem at all.
Yeah.
All right. Just hold it for me because Mumuni Mukhtar is a security expert and he also joins me. Mr. Mumuni, good afternoon. Welcome to the Pulse. And if you can kindly unmute.
Hello, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon. So great to have you. So I have on the line, on the telephone line, COP retired Alex Mensah. You know the issue around him, the leak tape, the parliamentary committee, his retirement from the Ghana Police Service. He says he's happy that George Akuffo Dampare is out of the scene. He's unhappy with the jubilation, but he says that reflects how the police administration saw him during his time as IGP. Let me pick your initial reaction to what is unfolding before our eyes this very afternoon, before I let Alex Mensah go.
Well, what we're seeing might be surprising for a lot of people who may not be familiar with developments or the context in terms of what pertained during the leadership of IGP Dampare. Those of us who have been following ever since he took charge of the administration are not surprised at all at what has happened. But of course, the images that we are seeing far more exceeds what we thought was our estimate of the level of fatigue and, that sense of fatigue and frustration among officers over IGP Dampare's leadership. I think that generally, I would say that Dampare's tenure as an IGP can best be described as one of the best of times, of IGPs in this country, and one of the worst of times in our history in terms of IGPs. This is a man who came in very, very deliberate in projecting a very strong positive image of the police service. He actually reconstructed the image of the Ghana Police Service and built a stronger image in the eyes of the public. We saw how he deliberately used the media. He courted civil society and all stakeholders, including traditional leadership and politicians, to build a sense of goodwill for the police institution. And I think, for a long time, people or the public began or appeared to have some sort of admiration for the police service and for the leadership of Dampare. But at the same time, he has, presided over an institution with very, very terrible leadership internally. There have been serious situations of, allegations of vindictiveness relating to the issues, issues of promotions, senior officers passed over, young officers promoted over senior officers, and largely due to whether you are aligned to him or not. Issues relating to remuneration issues that involve what I could just say a culture of terror within the institution. And so it has been very, very poor in that respect.
Okay.
And I had, retired COP
Alex
Mensah talk about the very important issues that people like us in civil society and academia are interested in. The issue of crime statistics is so important that any serious leader who takes charge of this institution would not only ensure that there is regular update in terms of release of crime statistics, but invest heavily in ensuring that that department is well functioning and functioning very regularly. And for the IGP to stop, the release of crime statistics, that was a huge, huge blow and an undermining factor in terms of his leadership. There have been a lot of allegations of, extrajudicial killings under his tenure.
Right.
And I think that these are very serious allegations that we ought to have looked into even whilst he was in charge. So I think this is my characterization of the tenure of IGP Dampare. And we are hoping that the new IGP will bring in a new paradigm, a new sense of culture and direction for the Ghana Police Service.
All right, just hold it there for me. So, Mr. Alex Mensah, anything more to add before I let you go?
Oh, I'm praying that my will not that will that do something that is public key that the service can every time to our regional work to allow regional liquidation of to work to allow the tax of work so that you have this time. That's all what I.
And then also, as a media practitioner, one of the things perhaps that every media person wants to see done in the administration of this new IGP is the fact that police public relations officers should be given the power to speak to matters happening within their jurisdiction. Under the leadership of Mr. Dampare, that was, curtailed. I'm sure he had fine reason for doing so. He's explained it because he wants to centralize information flow at the headquarters. You think that should change or the status quo should remain, Mr. Alex Mensah?
Oh, I know it should change. This was decision. It was because and I know who said anyone needs that register to work. What any or need that register have not in the office in that and receiving their salary. What is that? They are now happy because they are now going to do their work. And I know my junior brother will do it. I trust him.
And then finally, of concern to a lot of police officers is the issue of promotion and whether it should be done on merits or because of affiliation or allegiance. What would be your expectation of Mr. Yohunu, because you've served in the highest position of COP of the police service?
We are praying that Mr. Yohunu will come and correct all these promotion difficulties. First, junior officers were promoted over and above their seniors without any reasonable evidence showing that they have done something better than inequity. I know the one will do that. I trust.
Okay. Let me leave you now to enjoy your weekend. COP retired Alex Mensah. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. All right. So let me cross over again to Mr. Mukhtar. Mr. Mukhtar, so, Dampare's tenure has come to an end. You expect that some of the allegations that were leveled against him, which you have reiterated, a body must go into it, or we should let it slide?
Well, I do not think that we should just let it slide because his tenure has come to an end. I think that some of them are so serious that they undermine a lot of things in terms of our democratic dispensation. if you have an institution like the Ghana Police Service accused of involvement in extrajudicial killings, it's important that we institute investigation inquiry into this and actually clear it and bring this to a conclusion. We do not know which individuals are involved in terms of the victims. We do not know the circumstances under which this happened. And so it's important that we bring finality to it, or we clear that kind of allegation relating to, the extrajudicial killings and many other things. And I think that, it's unfortunate. I had a lot of goodwill and support for IGP Dampare when he took over, because I had learned a lot about his discipline and many other positive aspects of him before even he became an IGP. And for him to end in this manner, in terms of these other negative things that have been associated with him, I feel very, very, worried about that. And I think that it's important that that investigation is conducted to clear him of it, or otherwise, if indeed they really are true. And the issues of allegations of officers relating to vindictiveness and unfair treatment, those are important things that might be, carried through. I think that we should not just let it go because his tenure has ended.
We are hoping to be joined for this conversation also the Member of Parliament for West, Mr. Peter Lanchini, who was a member of that committee that investigated the leak tape, and of course the chairman of that committee as a former Member of Parliament, Samuel Atachia. But a group is in court seeking the court's intervention to virtually tie the hand of the president from interfering with the work of the security heads. The court has yet to pronounce on it. What do you make of the intention behind the writs that they are seeking, that there is some kind of a security of tenure for the various security heads? Now today, for example, apart from Mr. Yohono, 3 others, Ghana Prison Service, Immigration, they've also seen changes at the very top. They want that dealt with. What do you make of it? Is it a good call that should be encouraged, so that the president will have to work with an IGP, whether he likes him or not?
I think that the discussion on the issue of security of tenure of our security chiefs did not begin during the time of IGP Dampare. This is something that we have discussed over the decades as part of the security sector reforms, in terms of ensuring some level of autonomy and independence of those institutions to be allowed to function independently in the interest of the state, not in the interest of regimes. And so we have had exhaustive conversations around it. And so there's this very popular idea about
the connection appears to be frozen, to be acting up to Mr. Momuni. We'll see if we can reconnect and bring him back on as we begin to wrap up on this conversation. We're hoping to also be joined by Peter Lanchini and Samuel Atachia, but as of now, they are not available as of this very moment. Mr. Momuni, can you hear me? Right, so I think the connection is lost there. So, yeah, so you are back. So you are making a point, Mr. Mukhtar.
Okay. Yeah, so the security sector reforms has been, this is part of security sector reform point of discussions, and we've talked a lot about it. And so I think that it was in this spirit that these individuals went to court seeking to ensure or compel, the state to guarantee security of tenure for the IGP. I do not agree, that it should be exclusively be about the IGP. It should be universally applicable to the other security chiefs to ensure that we are dealing with this in a very, very holistic manner. And so we need broader conversations around it, because every single administration or political leadership want a sense of commitment to the political and security agenda of their government. And so they would like to have a big role, a big hand in terms of who becomes the head of those security institutions. But as to whether that undermines the independence and autonomy of those individuals or not is another matter. I think that those questions, I mean, it depends on the perspective that you come from. If you consider the tenure of office of IGP Dampare, many people consider him as a very tough individual who did not just, pander to, either the ruling party or any other group.
Right.
And also he exercised a certain sense of strong leadership. And so it meant that any IGP who is appointed by the ruling government could choose to exercise that level of strong leadership and independence and not necessarily following the orders of the regime.
And Mr. Muni, it's very interesting you brought out this particular angle to the conversation. I remember some few months to the last election, I think about 3 months to the last election, the ranking member on the then Defense and Interior Committee, James Agaga, held a news conference at the time that President Akufo-Addo was in the process of appointing Mr. Christian Tete-Yongunu as the deputy IGP. And the NDC argument then was that he was being appointed to help the MPP steal, or better still, manipulate the 2024 general elections. And in the minds of the NDC followers, he was seen as somebody who was just there, who was being put there to do the work of the MPP. Here we are, a few months later, he's been appointed by President John Mahama on the ticket of the NDC to the highest position in the police service as IGP.
So clearly, you can see that there are quite a lot of contradictory narratives about this, the intentions of appointments or allegations of the use of this security chiefs in the interest of political appointees. So until now, many people would have thought of now IGP Onu as an affiliate of the MPP who was meant to be used during the elections in the interest of the MPP. And here we are, appointed by the opposition that is now in power.
Right.
And so those things are very, those things undermine, the credibility of leadership, and they undermine, autonomy and leadership of those security chiefs. What we need to do is to be able to focus on the integrity of the leadership that is put in place. And I think that, of course, some of us can criticize IGP Dampare for very good reasons, but at the same time, we are able to acknowledge.
Looks like we may have to leave it here because of internet challenges that we are facing in connecting to our guests. We'll leave it here, Mutamu Muni, security expert. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. We're hoping that you will tell us what you expect of the new IGP in few words. But let's leave it here because this conversation is just beginning. We'll take a short break right here on the pause and return with other stories. You're welcome back. Now, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Alex Mensah, has reviewed plans by a 45-member coalition of election management bodies across Africa to integrate artificial intelligence into future elections. Speaking in her capacity as president of the executive committee of the Association of African Election Authorities, she made this announcement during the 3-day conference aimed at addressing the rising number of rejected ballots in elections. James Abaji has more in this report.
Heads of 45 election management bodies across Africa have converged here in Accra in the last 3 days to look at ways they can address problems of invalid or rejected ballot papers in our elections on the continent. They once saw the proposition of some solutions, including the adoption of electronic voting and redesign of ballot papers to make them user-friendly. Guest speaker for this 9th conference and former Chief Justice of Ghana, Sophia Akufo, warned that the problem of rejected ballots must be tackled immediately to forestall any future consequences.
The democratic process of elections on the continent is at risk of being undermined by the increasing incidence of invalid or rejected ballots.
On this final day of the conference, President of the Executive Committee of the Election Management Bodies, who is also Ghana's chairperson, Alex Mensah, has been updating us on what the decisions are on the proposals. Do you adopt some of these suggestions and impose them on your members, or you leave them to adopt whichever depending on their capacity?
Very much so, because it's based on the context, and therefore you cannot, it's not something that is being forced on members. What we all propose and what we all aspire to is to reduce the number of rejected ballots, and I think that one is a mandate for all of us to take forward and work towards. And we hope that a year from now, when we meet, those who have had elections will be able to tell success stories of a reduction.
She's also revealed that the electoral commissions across the continent are exploring possible means of adopting artificial intelligence in our future elections.
In collaboration with the South African Electoral Commission, the AU and ACAS, the association put together very useful and valuable guidelines to govern and guide the use of social media around elections. These principles have been adopted by members, and several of us have gone on to utilize it. And so in Ghana, for example, we cut down to a large extent our communication budget because we used social media to communicate to the public. We had a lot of videos and skits on the A to Z of our work to educate the public on all aspects of our work and to disseminate information. This went a long way to reduce the usual tensions and suspicions that characterized our elections, and more importantly, it helped us to reduce funds. It helped us to reduce our expenditure. We note that since the adoption, we have the emergence of AI in elections. Very interesting. And I'm pleased to note that our colleagues from the South African Electoral Commission, led by our own friend here, the chairperson, have gone ahead to address these gaps. And they'll be sharing with us, their proposals for our consideration and review in today's meeting.
At a time where elections in some African countries have been marred with violence and court issues, even here in Ghana in 2012 and 2020 election petitions, the Director of Governance and Conflict Prevention at the African Union, Patience Chiraza, is calling for unity among the ECs as well as the African Union in order to strengthen election management on the continent.
There is need to rethink the approach from planning and having a more coordinated approach together with the African Union to ensure that we enhance our collaboration and coordination in the field and avoid duplication.
This conference would also see the election of fresh executive members and president of the executive committee of the election management body. We look forward to see whether Ghana's EC chair, Jean Mensah, would maintain her seat as the current president going forward, or she would have a replacement. From the Labadi Beach Hotel here in Accra, my name is James Savage reporting for Joy News.
Well, we've got a very important conversation on Club Forts. I'm sure you want to stay and understand what it is all about, especially if you have a kid. But before we do that, the Interior Ministry has charged all private security companies to ensure their members are properly trained and accredited to avoid being disbanded. Now, addressing religious leaders on the need to preserve the peace in the country, the Sector Minister, Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak, added all licensing of guns would be digitally done to aid in monitoring.
Now, every private security company that you see is supposed to be licensed by the Minister of Interior, signed by the Minister of Interior. And when you license a private security organization to go and help people, you are supposed to also determine which kind of people they can employ. I've seen that that's a gap, what we call the man guard. And now we give them the license. They just go out and collect any other person to go and man your homes. And sometimes they carry the thieves into your home. As going forward as ministry, we are going to insist that when we give you licenses, those that you can pay, we have to train them. do security clearance on them, certify that they are good people that you can engage to be able to use for the private security company that you have. The Minister for Interior is supposed to sign and authorize any gun that you see out there. Any person who is holding a gun that is licensed, then it means the Interior Minister authorizes it. But one of the funny things that I've noticed since I became Minister for Interior is that everything is done manual. And today if you come to the minister and ask me, so how many guns have you authorized so far? They have to go and bring the whole archive. One, we want to computerize it and digitalize it. Two, I want to give you license to have gun. I need to be sure that you can fire the gun. So I'm going to insist that before gun license is given to anybody, you have to go through a training for us to be sure that you can fire the gun. You even know how to handle the gun. Because we see people keep gun in their homes and their children pick it in plane and they kill each other.
Alhaji Muntaka Mubarak has also charged leaders of the Muslim community to advise the youth not to be involved in langadism. This is said is to help keeping discipline among the youth, as reports suggest most langas who are arrested are Muslims, a situation which needs immediate attention.
We must not do anything that will bring Islam into disrepute or harm the reputation of our great nation. It's unfortunate that most of the langas that we see around, each time there is a swoop and they are arrested, it's sad for me to say that sometimes 100% of them are coming from the Zongo community. And most times, majority of them are coming from the Muslim community. They put their lives online for others, sometimes for peanuts. And sometimes they do all manner of things that really brings all of us into great disrepute. These are some of the things that we want to engage in for us to see, put our heads together to say, what is it that we can do together? I urge you to share your perspective I urge you to share your perspective. The battery is going down. So, I urge you to share.
The acting South African High Commissioner to Ghana, Tendo Dampare, has praised the impacts of the visa waiver agreement between Ghana and South Africa, citing a notable increase in travel between the two nations. Now, he was speaking at the Accra Polo Club's Independence Day, an event supported by the South African High Commission and the West Africa Office of the South African Tourism. Dampare revealed that over 35,000 Ghanaians visited South Africa between January and December last year, describing the visa-free policy as a transformative step in boosting travel. They encourage more Ghanaians to explore South Africa, particularly during the upcoming Easter season. The new visa was introduced in 2023 to allow Ghanaians to travel and stay in South Africa for up to 90 days.
South Africa is one of the most diverse and captivating travel destinations in the world, offering a unique blend of natural beauty, rich history, and culture. From the stunning landscapes of Table Mountain to the vast wildlife reserves of Kruger National Park, South Africa presents a wealth of experience for every type of traveler. Known as the Rainbow Nation, its cultural diversity is reflected in its traditions, languages, and more. The event at the Accra Polo Club, supported by the South African High Commission and the West Africa Office of South African Tourism, brought people from diverse backgrounds together at the Accra Polo Club for a memorable experience rooted in South African culture. Guests also enjoyed the Accra Polo Club's Independence Cup match between South Africa and Ghana, which highlighted the strong ties between the two nations. In an interview, acting South African High Commissioner to Ghana, Tendo Dampare, emphasized how the visa waiver between Ghana and South Africa has boosted travel to South Africa.
Yes, you know what, we were involved as the South African High Commission when it comes to waiver of visa requirements for both Ghanaians and South Africans. Yes, even our Minister of Tourism, he even confirmed, you see, before the last tourism in Indaba, that was in South Africa. It's a yearly event whereby the minister said there was a spike of 249% of Ghanaians going to South Africa. It shows that the waiver of visa, it was one of the impediments, but since it has been waived, so now people, they are starting to explore each other's country. So it was in a good direction. And also you see, as I provided statistics earlier, that Ghanaians from 1st of January last year up until December last year, 36,656 to be precise, that Ghanaians, they visited South Africa.
Former Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development of South Africa, Jeff Radebe, who was also at the event, said it would strengthen the relationship between the two countries, reinforcing the cultural and diplomatic connections between the two nations.
It's very exciting to be here in Ghana, the Black Star of Africa, the first ever independent country against colonialism in 1957. We are very desirous in South Africa to strengthen not only political relations between South Africa and Ghana, but strong economic relations, because the vision of our leaders, the Vision 2063, is what we want to see in Africa. So I'm very happy that this tournament between Ghana and South Africa Polo happens as part of the celebrations of the 68th anniversary of the independence of the great people and government of Ghana.
President of the Accra Polo Club, Justin Buta, expressed his excitement about the polo match, saying it brought people from diverse backgrounds together in a spirit of camaraderie and celebration.
I think the aim, the objective of the Independence Day game is to actually celebrate our independence, but also bring other countries to come and see Ghana in that process. We play with each other all the time in the club, right? So it gets a bit boring when we play, all the time. So actually getting new players to come from new teams, it gives a different level of competition. It gives a bit more excitement to the game. And there's something to play for. Independence Day, you're playing for Ghana. You put the shirt on. It's no different from being a Black Star, except you're not playing football. So that's why.
The commentator for the event, Jill Buta, gave insights into what it is like to provide polo commentary, sharing her unique perspective and passion for the sport.
I think a little bit more intense. Okay. It's passed quicker to each individual player, and you've also got something else much more exciting going on. You've got horses. Okay. You've got horses, and it's not just about your skill with your feet and the ball or head and the ball. You've actually got to control a horse. You've got to be able to ride first.
Now let's focus on health, because a renowned Ghanaian-born US-based surgeon, Dr. John DeGraft Johnson, is advocating for the establishment of a telemanipulation surgical centers in Ghana to bring world-class medical care closer to the people. Dr. DeGraft Johnson explains that this advanced system enables surgeons to perform even the most complex procedure remotely with unmatched precision and accuracy. He's urging Ghanaian authorities to immediately embrace the technology to revolutionize healthcare and cut unnecessary medical travel costs. Carlos Caloni has more in this report.
Telemanipulation surgery is a remote-controlled technique that enables surgeons to perform procedures using robotic assistance, ensuring greater precision, accuracy, and minimally invasive interventions. Dr. John DeGraft Johnson, a Ghanaian-born US-based top surgeon specializing in robotic-assisted surgery, highlights the technology's efficiency in performing complex procedures without the need for direct human contact.
What we are talking about is the idea called telemanipulation surgery. What does that mean? It means that one sits at a consult, manipulating the technology, and it's a remote arm that's operating on the patient. What it is that you just kind of control it, and it transmits your movement to the distal end of the tentacles that allows you to operate on the patient. In order for me to access your heart, for example, during an open heart surgery, it requires me to, number one, take a knife, cut the skin to the breastbone. Then I need a saw to literally saw open your breastbone.
Wow.
Then I need to put a retractor to spread open those breastbone to gain access into your chest to start conducting the preparation. So one can imagine the trauma that it takes to go through all the layers of the skin, the muscles, then the bone, and then spreading it open to gain access just to do the surgery. What if we don't have to do that? Suddenly we are avoiding the collateral damage that we deem necessary to gain access. So we are sneaking in between the ribs, gaining access through tiny little incisions and doing the exact same surgery we will be doing, except we are avoiding the access to your chest by, quote unquote, cracking your chest open.
Dr. DeGraft Johnson revealed that nearly all types of surgeries can be performed using this advanced technology, significantly minimizing surgical risk.
There's a variety of surgeries. So the garden variety of surgeries is, let's say, prostate disease. When you have open prostate surgery, your risk of impotence is significantly high. However, if this done using the robot, your risk of impotence is almost near zero because the precision, you don't have to destroy too many things to get to where you need to go. Okay. For our ladies that need fibroid surgeries and things of that nature, it can be used for that.
Dr. DeGraft Johnson is urging policymakers in Ghana's health sector to take immediate action in establishing a tele-manipulation surgical center. He emphasizes that this will eliminate the need for Ghanaians to travel abroad for advanced medical care, ensuring world-class treatment is accessible at home.
The idea behind this technology is essentially democratizing healthcare in remote parts of the world, whereby perhaps they may not have access to higher level of care.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. Suddenly, we have a young lady who is found to have a hole in the heart. They need to have that repaired. The surgery is expensive. Perhaps, we have experts here, or we do not have the experts here. And the patient has to be sent outside Ghana. As you know, the world is changing. Some places may say, we're not going to grant you the visa. Or even if they will, it has to go through the natural bureaucratic process that it takes. And what is not allotted to the patient is the luxury of time, waiting for the bureaucratic process to play out. What if a well-willing surgeon here in Ghana says, you know what, no problem. Let me call a friend, a colleague outside of Ghana, anywhere in the world, that can join me in helping do your surgery remotely. This brings about a collaboration in healthcare that never before been seen.
Dr. DeGraft Johnson believes establishing a single tele-manipulation center here in Ghana will revolutionize healthcare in the country. For Joy News, Carlos Keloni, Accra.
Right, and we'll do more health because viral hepatitis remains a major public health concern in Ghana, with an estimated 8% of the population living with hepatitis B, according to the Ghana Health Service. Hepatitis C also poses a growing threat with a prevalence rate of about 3%. Now, despite the availability of vaccine for hepatitis B, low screening rates and limited access to treatment continue to fuel infections. Our health experts warn that undiagnosed cases could lead to severe liver disease, including cancer. The World Health Organization has urged Ghana to scale up awareness, testing, and treatment to curb the spread of and achieve it within 2030. That's the elimination target. So how is Ghana doing in this regard? In the studio with me this afternoon is Dr. Chu Kwao. Good afternoon, sir. And of course, he's the program manager of the National Viral Hepatitis Control Program with the Ghana Health Service. Also, Theobald Osu-Ansam. Ms. Osu-Ansam, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Osu-Ansam is President, Hepatitis Foundation of Ghana. So, hepatitis B is very popular. So, and I'm guessing it's because I've just heard of hepatitis C, which means that there may be more. So first, walk us through what hepatitis is all about.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hepatitis basically means inflammation of the liver, or the liver getting swollen. In the initial stages of infection, yes, you get this, and over the years, if the infection does not resolve, the liver may become shrunken, hard, or even develop a cancer. So hepatitis, what we are very much interested in is viral hepatitis, caused by the hepatitis viruses. In this particular instance, you've mentioned B and C. Yes, we have B and C. We also have A, we also have D and E. But the ones that are really in focus in Ghana, we are talking about hepatitis B and to a lesser extent C. You've shown the statistics.
Right.
Really, viral hepatitis B, it's very common in Ghana. We have about 9.1% of the population estimated to have the, you may get other estimates ranging even up to 11.4%. But the fact of the matter is that many Ghanaians are infected with viral hepatitis B, giving us about some 2.87 million people as of 2022. Estimated to have viral hepatitis B. And
reported cases?
These are not reported cases. These are cases that are projected. No, you know, many people will not report viral hepatitis unless they become sick.
Right.
But you can have about 10 people, maybe about 2 or 3 have it. There's no way you can know. So these are not reported cases. And for hepatitis C, yes, it's also there to a lesser extent. We have active infection rate is about 1.3%.
Okay.
That gives us over 440,000 people who are actually carrying this virus. Okay. And they also risk development of liver cirrhosis and eventually liver cancer over time.
Meaning, if it is not treated?
Yes, if it's not treated.
This is what will happen to you?
Yes, exactly. And it's the fact that you may have this without knowing, so you continue to live life normal. By the time you wake up, there was something is happening, maybe it's already that advanced.
So who is at risk, and what are some of the signs you should look out for?
Yes, let's focus on hepatitis B, especially. Hepatitis B, it's transmitted through infected body fluids like infected blood and other body fluids that are contaminated.
Is sweat included?
Sweat is not included. In fact, the virus will not transmit through sweat, not transmit through breast milk. It will not transmit through ordinary eating with your friend from drinking water. It will not transmit that way. What it will transmit is when infected articles, when there's an infected blood from one person goes to a vulnerable person who is also not infected, that person stands a high likelihood. And in Ghana, the biggest chunk of hepatitis B transmission actually happens from mother to child. When an infected...
That is during childbirth?
Yes, during childbirth and in the early weeks after childbirth. I would explain this. When you have an infected mother who just does not know, of course, go through pregnancy without any precautions, delivers the baby right from the time of separation of the placenta all the way through to handling the baby until the baby is ready to be vaccinated. At 6 weeks, there's an avenue for this child to be infected.
Right.
So, in fact, it's also used to be that children in childhood, when they are playing, they have cuts on their body rolling over each other. They get they get infected from one another, but that's in the past. Now with childhood vaccination, routine vaccination, that aspect of the transmission is taken care of, because this vaccination is given from 6 weeks, 10 weeks, and 14 weeks. But the first 6 weeks of life is not covered. So this is exactly where majority of the hepatitis B transmission in Ghana currently comes from. And this is what is driving the high,
maybe because you raise the
prevalence.
issue of body fluid, I'm wondering whether sexual intercourse could also be another way to transmit the disease.
Yes, of course. Infected body fluid, once your partner is not immune, he is susceptible to be infected.
So for somebody who is infected and works in an office space where he interacts and meets people on a daily basis, is there any danger for his colleagues?
In fact, the answer is no. There's no danger for his colleagues. He's even in office. So you not see that he's at home where he's sharing toothbrush and blades with people. No, there's not that. You can interact, you can hug, you can... there's no risk at all.
Let me bring in maybe so as a nation, are we taking this serious?
Yeah, let me say no. We are not taking it serious. As we look at the figures, hepatitis figures is growing day by day, not like HIV. And when we come to prevention, we are not doing, because it's a preventable disease. You can prevent it. So why do you have to wait for somebody to get the person to be tested positive before you treat the person? So when you look at the cost benefit, introduce BEV dose is cheaper than treating the disease. Because the BEV dose, when we look at, let me go to Rwanda, our neighbor country, Rwanda. Rwanda are able to introduce BEV dose. Uganda have done it. Other African countries have done it. But Ghana, we have to wait for 6 weeks. That within that 6 weeks, anything can happen. So if the government can introduce BEV 24 hours BEV dose, it means the virus will help us. We can control the virus, and it means we are also going to protect future generations. Yes, as now Ghana is not doing anything in terms of the treatment. Now they have treatment for hepatitis, which is free. But Ghana, our problem is not hepatitis C. Our problem is hepatitis B. So we need to treat hepatitis B, and also if the government can even add it to the national health insurance, it will benefit everybody and the people who are living with it.
Does that what you want to ask?
Yes, I want to just, in the 90s, national prevalence was about 17%. By 2010, when childhood vaccination, routine vaccination that includes hepatitis B, was introduced as pentavalent vaccine. By 2010, it had fallen to about 10.5, and the last estimates done were about 9.1. So it means that as vaccination is introduced, it is actually affecting, bringing down the number of cases. That is the national prevalence of the cases. And in fact, the routine vaccination has actually helped a lot. We have had a big explosion of viral hepatitis in Ghana. So what is left is the window between birth and 6 weeks. And government is not sleeping on
this at all.
My Director General, is very eager to make sure that viral hepatitis B is put behind us. So there's a lot of work going on.
The issue of treatment options and centers. Treatment options and centers. Do we have them in abundance?
Ghana, what happens is we have treatments or places where anybody with viral hepatitis can be seen, especially in our high-end facilities like the teaching hospitals, where you have specialists and so on. Now that our realization is there that no, we need to have an elimination by 2030. What is necessary now is to drive down treatment to the district level, regional to district, so that we have multiple sites where patients can be seen and access treatment. And this is something that as a program we are not sleeping on. We are calling for stakeholders to come on board and let's do this for Ghanaians.
And then is there a cost attached to it?
Cost attached?
The treatment?
Yes, there's nothing free except that probably somebody is picking the cost. In Ghana, as at now, health insurance does not yet pick the costs
of hepatitis
drug treatment for hepatitis B. So individuals have to bear it, unless, of course, there's another intermediate
way of doing that.
Yes. So as for hepatitis C, like he said, the government of Egypt has been gracious enough to be supporting us to get medication because hepatitis C can be cured. That is where the strong motivation actually came from. Once you treat for 3 months, cure is possible.
It should be okay.
So, but hepatitis B is a lifelong treatment, and it requires a lot more planning and allocation of resources to make sure that once we put people on treatment, we can sustain it until the time that actually it is very much controlled or they continue for life.
So, looking at the trend that we're going, are we likely to eliminate it by 2030?
I would say no. Ghana cannot achieve that 2030 elimination target. Because when you compare other African countries, you see commitment there. There's a commitment. But Ghana, the commitment is low. If maybe we'll be true to ourselves, HIV and other program is running with budget, but hepatitis that is running with, let me say, zero budget.
There's no budget.
Yeah, there's no budget on it. We have to depend on other partners or other stakeholders. So if government take ownership, if the ownership is government who's going to fund everything. Because when you go to Rwanda, I keep on mentioning Rwanda because I went to Rwanda that time they have not started hepatitis policy in Africa. Ghana have started hepatitis policy, but Rwanda have not started. I went there to help them advocacy, and they started hepatitis policy. But now, only in terms of Rwanda, they have done more than Ghana, what Ghana have done so far. So Ghana cannot achieve the 2030 elimination because of what I'm seeing. It's like a fire service approach. When we see there's a fire, then we have to go and put water there. So Ghana have to do something. The government have to do it. There should be a budget for hepatitis program. This is a budget, this treatment centers. So go. Doctor was saying that you have to go to the treatment hospital. Now, if somebody want to go to the teaching hospital, it will take you 6 weeks or 1, 2 weeks or 3 months or 4 months before you see a doctor. Because most of them are
overwhelmed.
Yes, overwhelmed. So it will take time. But we don't. If maybe you can train more people, other countries they have done it. Egypt, he mentioned Egypt. Ghana is getting support from Egyptian government on hepatitis C. Now, when you go to other countries, hepatitis B is not a major problem for them. The developed area countries like China, Taiwan, hepatitis B is not a major problem. Now they are concentrating on hepatitis C. And if doctor will bear with me, if you go to American Europe, they don't concentrate on hepatitis B again. Now their concentration is hepatitis C. That's where the fundings are going.
Okay.
Because hepatitis B is a preventable disease.
But let me ask Doctor why there's no direct funding for hepatitis B activities at the Ghana Health Service.
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, he tried to compare Ghana with Rwanda.
Right.
Rwanda is a much smaller country.
True.
I mean, Ghana cannot just jump without going through planning and allocation of resources for what has to be done to eliminate the disease. And in fact, I believe that if we put in a lot of effort like is going on now, by 2030, we will have done significant progress.
Okay.
And we should be grateful for small mercies.
All right.
Government has really done some work. Government has made sure that prevention of hepatitis B is ongoing. Government has made sure that antenatal, when pregnant women, they can be tested through NHIS. It's ongoing. And for areas like public outreaches for testing and treatment, of course, it requires careful balancing. You don't only test the people and not have treatment. And government has begun work to make sure that treatment for hepatitis B becomes available at becomes one of the approved treatments in Ghana, is in the medical, is in the NHIS drug list, then it's available to treat people. Government is doing a lot, but government has a lot on its plate.
I'll give you the final word on this matter before we wrap up.
Oh, okay. So, doctor mentioned that they are doing pregnant women are being tested, but they are being tested out of pocket. They are being tested. When they tested positive, they are leave them. We left them without any treatment, because we don't have. It's those who has money who can afford. So if there is a program running for them, we can start from somewhere.
Right.
Yeah. So we can start from somewhere. So the government needs to start with the birth dose, 24 hours birth dose. When we talk about birth dose, they will tell them, oh, we are introduced birth dose, but in 6 weeks, we are preaching 24 hours birth dose.
Okay.
And also, pregnant women have to be tested and treated.
I hear you. We also have another platform for that discussion on this. Doctor, I want to just take
Thank you very much. I think government is doing well. And in fact, today I'm just from a meeting on birth dose.
Okay.
Ghana's application is there. And by the end of this year, birth dose will be introduced.
All right.
So rest assured. There are good things in the offing.
Okay.
No problem.
All right. We'll take a short break and return with more on this. Our final issue before we go. Now, this afternoon, our focus remains on health, but we turn our attention to a less discussed yet prevalent condition, one surrounded by numerous myths. We are talking about club foot, a medical abnormality of the foot. Here in Ghana, the Christian Health Association of Ghana, CHAG, is at the forefront of effort to combat this condition. This month, we are intensifying awareness and urging those affected to speak out. Well, we'll explore this issue in detail shortly. But first, a closer look at clubfoot and the impactful work CHAG has been doing.
Shrill, piercing and vociferous. The first cry of a newborn infant signals that a new life, separated from the mother's begun, and also a call for support. It is the hope of every expectant mother to deliver strong and healthy baby or babies. However, some unknown conditions that affect the physical formation of unborn babies leave many mothers devastated. Each year, up to 20,000 babies across the globe are born with clubfoot. In Ghana, about 1,000 babies are born annually with this deformity.
When you walk in the streets of Accra, you see a lot of untreated people who have clubfoot. We have children with clubfoot. We have adults who also have clubfoot. So it is here.
If each region is seeing about 100 such cases, that should tell you how much burden we have as far as clubfoot is concerned.
Without knowledge about clubfoot, parents of babies with clubfoot often did not immediately realize their newborn's foot or feet were affected.
I want to know more about this. So in the studio is Esther A.C. Jeche. He's a clinical program coordinator of the Christian Health Association of Ghana, CHAG. So what is clubfoot?
Thank you.
Yes, exactly. What does it, when we talk about that, what exactly are we talking about?
Clubfoot is a birth defect or deformity where the child's foot or feet turns downwards and inwards. So instead of a child's feet being straight, that the child can stand normally, it's not like that, but the feet are turned downwards and inwards. So sometimes if it's both feet, they'll be facing each other. If it's one foot, you have one straight and the other one turned inwards. And it's a very common birth deformity. Statistics shows that globally, every 1,000 live births, we can have one child with clubfoot deformity. Globally, each year, they record about 200,000 cases.
And I wonder what could be causing this?
The cause actually, in most of the cases, is not known. But there's belief that there's some genetic or environmental components. Genetic in that if you have a relative or a child with clubfoot, a relative with clubfoot, you have a higher risk of giving birth to a child with, or even any other deformity Then there are some environmental factors like a mother or a pregnant woman who is smoking, taking alcohol, increases your risk of having a child with deformity, and clubfoot can be part of it.
You know, in Ghana, there's so much myth around it.
Yes, a lot.
One that has no scientific backing.
Yeah, because the cause is actually not known. So most of the time, especially in about 90% of the cases, the child will be fine. Every part of the child will be okay. There are some that comes with other conditions. Then that one is secondary. But with the primary or the idiopathic one, child is fine and it's only the clubfoot. So most of the time, the mothers tend to either blame themselves. They feel maybe they've been cursed, or the child is even cursed, or maybe they did something that they are not supposed to do whilst they are pregnant. Maybe they ate some kind of food, or some even
or they slept badly.
They slept badly, or they fell down.
In the stomach.
Yes, so they think could be the cause of that, but that is usually not true.
But is this treatable, though?
It is. It is very treatable. So in Ghana, we have all the teaching hospitals are treating clubfoots, but in Chag, we have an NGO that is supporting the treatment. So the treatment is free in our centers. Currently, we have 7 clinics in Ghana giving free treatment of clubfoots. Yes, for children under 2 years, not children above. Sometimes if you come and the child is above 2 years and we assess or we can treat, then you are enrolled onto the program. As for children under 2 years, they get free treatments at our centers. In Accra, we are in 37 Military Hospital and SDA Hospital, Bawe. Then in Ashanti region, we are in Konfanochi Teaching Hospital and SDA Hospital, Kwadaso. We are also in St. John of God Hospital, Jiankwanta, then Holy Family Hospital, Techiman, and Tamale Teaching Hospital.
So left untreated, what could be the consequences? So
usually if it's not treated, it leads to a deformity, then goes on to a disability. Now you have the child not being able to walk properly.
Right.
They end up walking at the side of their foot. That causes pain, that causes, you have something called callus formation, skin ulcers. They are not able to wear their normal shoes. Then when it happens to the discrimination parts also comes in. The person have this low self-esteem. The community, even where they find themselves in, less opportunity. They are giving all manner of names. All manner of names, less opportunity for the child, even for the family. Imagine going to marry into a family and they see this child, then that's kind of, that's social discrimination comes in. So that is one of the, these are some of the effects of untreated clubfoot.
So your recommendation is that if detected early, it can be treated fast?
Yes, yes.
But at what age will you say that where it's gotten to, it cannot happen?
Okay, so usually we cannot say that it cannot be treated at all. We have had people, or let's say adults from 18 years who have been treated of clubfoot, just that it's not, the adult does not have that perfect gait that we'd always want to, but at least you have the correction achieved. That it's also very expensive, yes, but when it's detected early, the treatment is less costly and you can have the free treatment, so why not? Yeah, but if a child, maybe there's an adult who is older, 19, 20 years, it's usually difficult. It can be, depending on the assessments, but it's usually
so best when
early.
At infancy.
Yes, yes. At 2 weeks, we can start treatment.
Treating it.
Yes.
And you have an upcoming outreach program in Kumasi and Kumewu. Why Kumasi and Kumewu?
Okay, so we are being partnered by an organization called Brazza International. They already have a program that they do in Kumewu every year, and health outreach that they do. So this year they partnered with us and they said they wanted to scale up the treatment of clubfoot in Ashanti region because they already have a program there. So that's why we chose Ashanti region and Kumasi and Kumewu to be precise, because we already have clinics also in Ashanti region. Where
have you lined up for the outreach program? Okay,
so it's happening starting from the 26th to 29th of March.
Okay.
26th and 27th will be in Kumasi. That is SDA Kwadaso Hospital. And for that outreach is basically on clubfoot. So anybody with clubfoot deformity would come, we screen, assess, then start treatment if possible.
For free?
For free. And if we would have to even refer you, we would have orthopedic surgeons on board to assess you, that. Then we continue to Kumewu. That will be on the Friday and the Saturday. That will be on the 28th and the 29th of March. In Kumewu, that one will be general health screening with Clafford. So you would have maternal conditions like breast cancer screening, you would have eye screening, you would have other pediatric conditions. So that one is a general health screening. We would have community sensitization, then awareness creation to about Clafford and general health conditions. Yes.
All right, as you will leave it here, we'll follow up. This outreach, but Kumawu is not far from our hometown, so.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
All right, so thank you so much, AC, for coming to the discussion was about Clafford. All right, so just a short break, and then we'll be wrapping up. Right, so next weekend we are going to the Volta region. What exactly are we going to do there? Kwame Dagzi is here with me in the studio. Kwame, what is happening? Of course, everybody, yeah. But I was there. I was at Ahunaga. Last month for a funeral. All right. And then after the funeral, Volta, the way they do their funeral, after the person is laid in state and then is taken to the cemetery, that's it. The funeral is it ends there. The rest is partying. Exactly. And then the person took me to the beach side. We had fun. We had fun. I forgot I had come for a funeral. We had
funeral tourism.
Of course. So there's so many exciting things in the Volta region. Exactly. That I'm looking forward to this adventure.
And we're having more next week from 21st of March to 23rd of March. It's called the Volta Adventure by Joy FM. Already we have limited seats left. Yes, we're going to the Tafi Atomi Monkey Sanctuary. We're going to Mount Gemi. We also go to the Pando Zip Line. Then we go to the Amejope Waterfalls and Canopy Walkway. We're spending 2 nights.
2 nights for all of this.
At the Volta Serene Hotel. You heard the name, Serene Hotel.
Serene, yeah.
Yeah, it has a lot of facilities. So we go there, spend 2 nights, and then we go to other places like the Dodi World. We go cruise.
Oh, I see.
We cruise. After that, we also we come back to Accra, but we'll be served, a comfy fruit juice there. We have entertainment. But let me take you back to
all for 2 days.
At the hotel, we have Bobobo night. So we dance Bobobo. DJ Black will be there at the club. We jam at the club. And then there is a movie session where we get to watch some Ghanaian classics like I Told You So, like Kokwentumi, Road to Accra by King Ampao, and all these movies there. So it's a package. And all these going for 3,500 Ghana cedis.
3,500 Ghana cedis. And that will include all the things that you spoke about.
Accommodation, food, transportation.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, people are paying already. So to pay, this is the Momo number, 0593038842. 0593038842. When you send the money, the name that will register a
very important.
Boyfew. Or the multimedia group, Daniel Boyfew, 0593038842. Then you get to be part of this experience.
Next weekend.
Next week.
1st
to 23rd March, yeah. So it's a big experience already. People are buying their tickets. They are running out, so do yours now.
So please call that number and then send the Momo, send the money to the Momo number.
Exactly.
And then you are on board.
Then you reference your name. After that,
but is there a number they can quickly call before they send the money?
Yes, they can also call this number quickly. Let me get that to you. Okay, I'll get that later.
All right.
But yeah, so basically,
but there's a number on the phone, 030-221-6540.
Yes.
Yeah, for inquiries. Again, the number is 030-221-6540. Please call, but the Momo number is different, and that's where
different from the one for inquiries. Exactly. So we're going next week. You together with
all of us will be there. Volta is a nice place to be.
Getting out for this experience.
All right. So Business Life is up next, and let me turn to my right. And Pius is here. Pius, what's coming up?
Volta region.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
No other place to be than the Volta region.
Yeah.
So what's coming up today?
Well, we'll be talking about some revenue measures lined up for the bulletin, and of course we'll be engaging some players as well when it comes to the revenue matters issued or outlined in the 2025 budget. So we've got details of this and more shortly for viewers.
All right. So I'll leave you in the hands of Pius. My name is Elton Broby. Have a good evening and have a lovely weekend. Take care.